Hello, my name is Tyler Blint-Welsh, and my final project is about activism around the Boston area. I interviewed three local activists and detailed um, the different type of activism they do and then the different types of impacts that their activism has on the communities. I started by interviewing Kate Crockford, who is the director of the Technology for Liberty program at the ACLU. I then interviewed Abraham Latiner, who is an organizer for Resource Generation, which is a nationally known nonprofit run by people who exclusively have access to money. And then finally, I interviewed Isabel Irizarry, who is a student activist here on campus that is the founder of Behind the Smile, which is a mental health-based organization.
In the work that we do at the ACLU, we really try to think in 5 or 10 year chunks, right? Like, what are we trying to accomplish over the long haul? And then after we've established those long-term goals, figure out how we're going to reach them and, create campaigns and create plans for those campaigns. There's a lot of planning. Well, we certainly want to reform the law here in Massachusetts to make sure that law enforcement has to get a warrant to access all sorts of private communications and cell phone location information and things like that. That's been a goal of ours for some years, and it's the primary goal of our project. A major problem is the lack of public awareness about this issue. So I do a lot of public education on the issue. So that's where a lot of the writing comes in, right? Is drawing attention to the fact that the law is bad and pointing people towards ways that they can contribute towards making it better. Writing, research, public speaking, and then definitely some lobbying and working with the legislative folks in my office to try to help move legislation on Beacon Hill here at the State House.
Yeah, it's different situations. That's one of the things I learned in Resource Generation. There's no one story that fits people who have access to money. But there were some things about it that resonated, in particular, the fact that she was talking about how there's in progressive, wealthy families, there's often a pattern of silence and kind of shame almost about money. So it's don't talk about it, don't tell people about it, it'll ruin relationships, it'll complicate things, you won't know who your real friends are, it's impolite, all these different narratives that when I was reading her perspective and other people's, it was oh, that really resonates with me. We were part of Resource Generation Boston has been a big supporter of just cause eviction organizing efforts in Boston that are led by mostly low-income people and people of color. That's one example. Also, we have a deep partnership with Haymarket People's Fund, which is a public foundation that is run by Black women and who don't identify as wealthy, and they do grants to grassroots organizing efforts that have a strong anti-racism lens throughout New England. And so Resource Generation actually came out of a space that Haymarket created for organizing donors, for building community. And so anyway, we're in deep relationship with them, and they're one of our partners that I think keeps us grounded and accountable in our work.
Our primary sort of activist effort and main event this semester and really this year was the Out of the Darkness campus walk to benefit the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And that was a process, organizing it and getting it greenlit by the school and jumping through all the hoops that the school presented for us. It definitely was difficult in a lot of ways. We had a lot of sort of stipulations and red tape. I guess a student activist movement around suicide prevention that fosters a space for people where they can feel comfortable, encourages them to reach out for resources, offers them resources outside of the school, which is lacking. So Samaritans and Lean on Me, the texting hotline, things like that. Making sure students know that those are available to them. It keeps people connected to resources and essentially helps reduce suicide rates on campuses, which is our main goal.